All right, everyone. Welcome to Castle Entertainment, our live Twitch. Sorry we got on a little bit late today. Um, this is the World of Greyhawk campaign, the first Betrayal, Episode 3, Season 1. I'd like to go around the horn here for everyone that hasn't seen our players before. Over here on your top left-hand corner, you'll see Patrick, and he's playing Agrias. In our top right-hand corner, we'll have Rainmar, who's playing Jeremy. In the bottom left-hand corner, you've got Brixton, who is played by Matthew. And on our bottom right-hand corner, you have Arion, who is being played by David. Welcome, everybody. Before we go any further, I'd like to give everyone a little. We're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. Today, one of my players is having a birthday. That would be Matthew over here in our bottom left-hand corner. Matthew Lazinski, happy birthday, buddy. In honor of your the special occasion, we are going to give you a Greater Rook roll. That will entitle you to choose the result of any single die roll that you have in any Castle Entertainment game. So, for example, if you wanted to throw a 20, you can throw a 20. If you wanted to throw a 1, you can throw a 1. There's no expiration date on it, and you can do with it as you please. If you want to use it today, you can. It doesn't expire. So, happy birthday, Matthew, from all of us, and I hope you're enjoying your day.
My advice is to save that for Gary Con, because those are the roles that are really damn. Save it for Gary Con, dude.
It is Gary Con is a great place to use those at. So for all of you who have ever played in my games, you guys know that First Edition D&D is a very deadly environment, and it's that role could very easily save your life. Right now, Patrick has one. I know that Matthew has one, and Jeremy, I believe you have one. Actually, I think all of you have one at this point. So feel free to use it when you want.
might have been.
So we're going to begin our game today.
I have.
No, go ahead, Jeremy.
I think I have 3 Rook rolls, but I don't have a greater Rook roll.
Right, you have 3 Rook rolls, not a greater one. Okay, guys, here we go. We're going to begin today's game. When we last left our intrepid heroes, all of you were at the Chuckling Centaur Inn, where you guys are sleeping for the evening. The night before, you guys had a very eventful day. You were hired by the Everin family to recruit a team that is going to help truck timber down the coastal road to some unknown place in the south of Raddick. You were given leave to hire, and you guys almost got in a fight, a knockdown, drag-out fight in the middle of the street, but cooler heads prevailed, and nobody ended up getting shot or hurt, so that was a good thing. And I'd like to know, first, it's the first thing in the morning. Everybody has woken up. One thing I want to take care of before I get to everybody is Matthew. Last night you had another dream. You had this dream that you were being chased. It was a very bad experience. You're underwater again, and there was something behind you, and you were swimming as fast as you could. You kept looking over your shoulder, and it was a pair of orcas. It was a pair of killer whales, actually. And they were gaining on you. And when you woke up first thing in the morning, it was just a snap. It was just a start. It was horrible. So that was the dream that you had last night. As a result of it, you didn't get as good of a sleep as you would have liked. But everybody's awake at this point in time. I would imagine you get yourselves ready, all of you, in your own various ways. And I would imagine that you would assemble outside of your rooms in the hallway as a group. At this point, you guys feel free to tell me what you'd like to do.
Is there a common area or a community area in the Chuckling Centaur?
The closest thing to that is the bar area where you guys were the other day, where Brixton got sick, and where you met the barbarian.
Yeah, let's convene there.
Okay. As you guys convene there, you guys all walk out into that area. You notice that the two gnomish girls that were interested in Matthew yesterday, they're all putting out food at different plates around this table. There's 4 settings, so you're pretty sure it's for you guys. Because as you remember, there was part of an agreement of you guys uh, being there was that Rainmar and Brixton were going to perform so that they got free room and board. So you're pretty sure this is part of the complimentary service. What would you guys do? You guys are all sitting around this table.
Well, if it's time to eat, I'm a savage. I'm gonna just start eating.
Yeah.
Same here. I'm gonna get my eat on.
Okay, you guys are all starting to eat. Rainmar, once again, it's hard to not notice the way that he's a savage eating. Ariane, oh, thanks very much, Lord Gasamba. Every one of you guys, it's hard to not pay attention to the way that Rainmar eats like a savage. Ariane, you notice down at the bottom at your heel, the girls have put out a flank of meat for Tobias to eat, and he's sitting there. He's the only thing that you guys have ever seen that eats in a messier fashion than Rainmar. But
I'm not too surprised with Rainmar then.
It's part of his charm, though. So,
yeah.
What's the topic of discussion over breakfast?
Well, for one thing, I'm also my normal practice is I've got my back to the wall or to the walls for the most part, watching the room at the same time.
This morning, breakfast, the whole room is empty except for the Everins. The Colonel and his daughter are eating at a different table. You guys look over at him, and Shauna lifts up a glass at you guys, like to acknowledge your presence.
Right.
But besides that, you guys are alone in there.
I respond.
What's that, Raymar?
I respond in kind to that. You know, whatever their custom is, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you guys do that. Behind the bar, you can see that Melindra is preparing for the day, washing glasses and getting everything ready behind the bar. But that's it. Besides you guys and the Everins and her assistants, that's all that's in there at this point in time. Unless you guys have anything that you guys want to accomplish in here, pretty soon, by the time your meal is over, it's probably about 9 o'clock. You figure in the morning.
All right.
What's the next item of business?
Very, very nicely say that once everybody's finished, I'd like to speak with the Everin and his daughter, the Colonel and his daughter, on details and stuff like that.
Okay. Is anybody going to accompany Ariane over to the table?
Yeah, I'll go with him.
Okay. Rainmar?
Okay.
Okay. The whole group ends up going over to the table. By this time, they kind of watch you come over. The Everins are done. They're just kind of talking amongst one another. You hear over here on your way over there, it sounds like Shauna is asking her father about his hip. But you guys end up coming over. The Colonel greets you as soon as you come over. Oh, well met, gentlemen. Did you guys have a good sleep last night?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Very comfortable.
It's important. As experienced travelers like yourselves, I'm sure you're well aware that getting good sleep for the evening is a very important part of being an effective warrior.
Right.
Is there something I can do for you?
I've got some, I'm sure other people have got some questions. I've got a bunch of miscellaneous things I'd like to ask and just get some details hammered out. I don't know if you want to do it here or in private settings, so you don't have in case it gets louder here.
Well, why don't we adjourn back to our room and we can talk in case things become of a confidential nature.
All right.
So he leads you guys back to their room. It's the same place that you were in the other day, when you guys agreed to the commission. He closes the door. Shauna's in there with you. The Colonel says, "Well, what's on your mind?"
All right. Well, I've got a few different miscellaneous questions, and everybody feel free to interject along with your. I was just curious as far as what does the caravan entail? As what are we carrying and what are we expected to is it? I'm guessing timber, some archaeological stuff. What are we, or is it
Well,
something
this is
else?
it's a good question. He says it's fair. He says what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going southward down the coastal train with six wagons. Three of them were yours. We're going to be
All right.
transporting timber. With the timber, we're going to be transporting laborers and guards that you hire. My daughter, and we're expecting someone into town here in the next sometime today. Myself, I won't be accompanying you. I'll be heading back up to Marner to
All right.
oversee the operation from the capital.
All right. Approximately how long of a trek is it? On the just as
I
a general
expect it. I
idea.
expect it to be about a 3-day trip. All things told. That's not accounting for inclement weather or anything that might happen along the way, but
Right.
it's part of what you guys are for.
All right. That would be one way. That's not a return trip. So 6 days
Oh,
total.
oh,
And then what?
oh no, 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 no. Your commission is only for the trip, the voyage down the
Okay.
coastal road. Uh, Once we arrive there, and once everything is all set, you're free to go to your own way.
Okay.
Uh,
Um.
but Shauna says, I'd also like to mention that depending on, she kind of looks at her father like she's wondering if this is something she should say. Depending on how things go, we may have another commission for you. The
All
colonel
right.
nods. He goes, "That's possible, yes, but that's quite a ways down the road, and I don't think that that's something we should discuss quite yet."
All right. Uh. What's the time frame between set out and now,
Well, that all
approximately?
depends on you. Right now, we're waiting on you to hire people and we're also waiting on our specialist to come down from Marner.
All right. Um.
Hmm.
I think you should
Um.
know about our specialist from Marner. While my daughter is an archaeologist, her specialty is very, shall I say, focused. This person that
All
we're
right.
having come down from Marner is a woman named Calissa Intrati. Miss Intrati is a very well-known archaeologist who specializes in the Sewell folk. But she is well known as an adventurer, and she's comes very highly recommended from my people in Marner.
Is
So
this that the sage that you were mentioning before?
that's
Or
exactly who we're referring to. Yes.
okay. Thank you. Let's see. What are we? I hate. I'm sorry for being jumping around here, and I'm taking notes and
He
getting it
shakes
all
his
in. But
head. He says, "My boy, let me tell you something. I served for 20 years in Radix military. I am
all right.
very well acquainted with the need for preparation. If you want to succeed in your aim, you have to know everything you're about to undertake. I understand. So please there's no need to apologize."
Okay. Thank you. I was just wondering. I'm trying to find my note here. But what do you expect for trouble on the way down and in that area? You said that it's
Well,
the hostile territory and type.
well, remember, as we go south, uh, Raddick is less civilized as you go down south in its across its geography. I expect there to possibly be bandits. I expect there possibly even to be humanoids, especially as we come closer and closer to the wood.
All right.
Um, Orcs, gnolls, shakes his head, possibly even ogres. I don't know. He says, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I know what we can expect. But he said, that's why we have men of action such as yourselves.
All right. Let's see. What type of terrain are we looking for down there
Well, the
on the way
coastal
down? Is
road is
it
relatively flat.
roads or is it
The coastal road
paths?
is relatively flat. It's made out of worked earth. Uh, I don't suspect that terrain will be a problem. It's going to be mostly plains until we reach the wood.
Okay. Is it ambush possible or
Incredibly possible, yes.
okay? I didn't know if if it was like in a lower area, so you might have somebody up
And
above.
he shakes his head and says, "No, no, no." He says, "The terrain won't be a problem there. The problem will be that the Archbaroness's men don't get there very often to do patrols, and so you have some pretty strong bandit gangs down there, and
Okay.
they may
All right.
try and put a toll to us. They may try and ambush us. Um, I'm not really sure what to expect, as I said.
All right. Let's see. Is this also why you may not have, you're suspecting why you haven't gotten a lot of response to your posting? You'd said something that we're almost like it sounded to me like you're incredulous. You can talk today. You're surprised that we actually offered to help you.
You're
Like
not
it's
wrong.
almost
He says, but it really doesn't have much to do with with the nature of the mission per se. He goes, most mercenaries like things a little bit more cut and dry. They like to know who they're going to fight. They like to be pit against a certain enemy.
okay.
Um, the fact that this is a little bit more of an open-ended mission, I think, has chased away a few of our prospects. You need to
Gotcha.
be a man of courage to take a mission like this. Or he looks over at Brixton or a gnome. Uh, consequently, he says, I don't. Uh, he says, I think that scared away a few people.
All right. That's understandable. I see the no
And Shanna,
expectations are
Shanna
definitely
quickly adds,
something.
"But we're very happy to have you. It's,
Yeah.
um, like I said, this is we want to get this underway as soon as possible, um, and having you is actually. My father and I were talking about this last night. Having you is a godsend. I heard
Okay.
about what happened in the street yesterday with the barbarian. I was very impressed. What that means to me is you know how to talk your way out of a problem as well as fight your way out of it. Both are important. She looks over at
Yeah.
Raymar and
Don't want to like eat his way out of it too.
smiles. Well, she goes, there's different times require different strategies. The fact that you know how to apply flexible strategies impressed me.
Well, that's what we try to do, and I also gave my promise to the sheriff to try to keep the peace.
That's true, she says, and she kind of looks over at Raymar and smirks and says, but he didn't.
I know. Um, as
I
far
made
as
no such
as far
promise.
as the recruitment type of thing, are we to send the recruits over to the guild and have them register with them,
I
like we?
suspect, she
Or,
says, that most of the people that you're going to hire are living at the guild house right now, which is down the road. If you take a left out of the inn and you cross the village crossing, it'll be on the right hand side up a little ways. That's the flop house where all the mercenaries stay. I expect them to mostly be there. Um, it's really not important for me that you send them to the guildmaster to sign on. But if they have a need to make it official, then absolutely.
I didn't know if it was like as because the we took the posting down as
Right,
per your,
right.
so it's not up there anymore unless you put another one. And I was gonna send a letter to some of my people that I've worked with north and west of here,
Oh,
actually
okay.
to Marner, so and see if anybody might be willing to come in.
The colonel
And
nods and
that's what I was wondering.
he says it's good that you would have people that you can trust. He goes,
Well,
I would find that far better than having just some rabble of mercenaries. But if all of
uh,
depending on what all of you wish, he says that's completely up to you. If you feel
I just wondered
more
if
comfortable in the company of strangers, then so be it.
okay. I just wanted to make sure everything was all copacetic and nobody was getting all in a bundle because of it.
He
And
laughs a little bit.
talking about
He goes, once we leave Caverick's Cove, he goes, uh, what they think of us is inconsequential to me.
That's fine with me. By just as an aside, you were heading back up to Marner,
I am.
and
Tonight, in fact.
and being a military man, do you know a Major Bjorn Berkshire, by the way, up there? He was part of the Scouts and Border Guard. He
Well, I'm
was
familiar
my
with the Scouts and the Border Guard, but that name
he
doesn't, in
was my
particular, doesn't
commanding
ring a bell to
officer
me.
years ago. What's that?
The name doesn't ring a
Doesn't-
bell to me, even though I'm familiar with the Scouts and the Border Guards.
Okay. That was just I just curious because he was my commanding officer when I was up
Oh,
there.
very good, very good.
So I was gonna send it up to the request.
Well, if you're looking to have letters taken to Marner, drop them off with me before I leave tomorrow this evening, and I would be happy to act as a courier for you.
Here you are.
He takes it. Very good. Who should I give it to?
I'm not sure who's in charge right now. I just to the Marner Border Patrol headquarters in Marner,
Very good. I'll make sure it gets into the proper hands.
so they can direct it to there. I mentioned my old commander's name just in case, so they should be able to figure something out. I'm not, and like I said, I haven't been there for about a year now, so they sort of wandered down through the
Shanna kind of half interrupts you by looking over at Brixton, and she says, she goes, you seem to be very popular. And she kind of eyeballs the window. As soon as she eyeballs the window, two heads kind of duck down underneath the level.
fan club again.
I have that effect on people.
So I see.
Those are the questions that I had anyway. Anybody else have any? Feel free.
Is there anything you would recommend us to resupply with for this journey?
Well, I don't know what all of your capabilities are, he says, but if I were you, I would make sure I had a priest that was capable of casting a spell like create food and water. That would lessen your need to hunt on the trip considerably. It would that would be my suggestion.
Okay.
Maybe even a druid, Shanna throws in there. Anyone
Is there
else?
one in town?
All right, very good, he says. Then I suppose our business is concluded. I'm very eager.
Matt, you had a question?
Oh, yes, of course.
Is there a druid in town that you guys know?
No, Shanna says, but I've heard that there is one that works at the tavern, which is the Blushing Nereid. It's just next door. They're the ones that supply most of the drink that they sell here, from what I understand. I don't know what a druid does working there, but if you're interested in finding out, then I would think that would be a good place to start. Well, if our business is concluded, then I'll let you be on your way, the colonel says. I'll make sure he holds up the envelope.
Well,
I'll make sure that this gets into the right hands.
All right. Thank you very much.
And go ahead, Rainmar.
I'm looking for a courier who can go to Greyhawk.
This Free City? Oh, that's a long way. He goes, if I were you, he goes, I would speak to, I might speak to Melindra out in the, out here in the tavern area. That she may have some contacts. That's a very long way.
Understood.
Okay, so you guys are done with him. I would imagine you would leave his room at that point.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let them do what they have to do and we get to our
You
stuff.
guys walk out of the room. You guys start passing through the tavern area. Drainmar, as soon as you make eyes with Melindra, she kind of waves you over. And she looks at Brixton, points at him, and waves him over too.
What can I do for you?
She says, "Well," she goes, "as part of our our arrangement. What time did you want to take the stage tonight?"
8.
She looks over at you two, back and forth.
Whenever the most people are imbibed.
She nods. Why don't you come back? Why don't you come back right around an hour after sundown? She says. By that time, we should have a pretty rowdy bunch here. And what kind of show are you guys going to put on so I can tell everyone? Musical performance, comedy
The
show,
best I think we should leave this up to Brixton.
Brixton? She looks over at the fellow gnome. What kind of
He's
show
the
are you
true
going to put on tonight?
Oh, it's gonna be quite entertaining. It'll be
Drinking
Yeah,
games.
it will be. Otherwise, I wouldn't have hired you. But what kind of show? I need to be able to tell the people something.
Tell them it'll be good.
All right. She goes, but if I'm going to leave it like that, they're going to expect something really good.
Rainmar can perform fantastically. It'll be great.
Well, I would imagine a man that carries a guitar on his back would be able to perform pretty well. So, all right, very well. I'll just tell everyone it'll be a good show. Make sure you're not late.
Hour after sundown.
Sure.
She nods.
Okay, I'm gonna roll a 20 to behead Brixton. Oh, look at that, a 20.
Can I use my greater Rickroll to change somebody's roll?
Yes, you can. Okay, so
Happy birthday.
you're all out in the main part of the tavern. What will you do?
Well, I want to talk to Melindra about sending out the letter I wrote to Sister Arumina.
Okay. She looks over at you. She goes, what can I do for you?
I have a letter I need to get to a temple in the free city of Greyhawk.
The free city. She says. I can get it there for you. She goes, but it's going to cost you, and it's going to be about 3 days. Is that all right with you?
Sure.
All right. She says, I think that 5 gold should work.
I'm comfortable with that.
Okay. She takes your envelope and calls over for one of her nephews. She says, take this over to the back. Don't let anything happen to it, she points at him. He nods, smiles, kind of waves, and runs in the back. It'll be there in 3 days. Where is it going in particular?
It should be handed directly into Sister Arumina at the temple, which is the Abbey betwixt dusk and dawn.
Oh, she goes, that's that building. That's that building in the foreign quarter, the weird one, right? The really tall, straight one. Yeah, I've
That's
been there.
correct. The
I've
spire.
seen that one before. That's a. I've always wondered what it was for. She nods. Okay, I'll make sure it gets there.
Zanye.
Oh,
Thank you.
it's
I
the Temple of
appreciate it.
Zanye. Oh, that makes a lot of sense then.
Mistress of perfection. Yeah.
Yeah, she looks. She says. She looks over at Brixton, who's also standing there. She goes, "You should see the building." She goes, "No matter what time of day it is, it's built in a way that it casts a shadow in each direction. It's like a tower, so it looks like a compass point on the ground. Very interesting building."
One day I'll travel there.
She nods. Okay, you guys. What else do you guys want to accomplish?
For me, I wanted to mail that letter. And I suppose, does everybody have enough spending money right now? Like if we went our separate ways for the day, does everybody have what they need?
I can't
David?
imagine we'd need more money than we already have.
I'm talking about spending money, not what's in the bank.
I do believe so.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. I think
Okay.
we should be okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we should be.
Okay.
What's the first plan, and where's
No,
everybody
Carlos,
going? Rainmar, I'll let you dictate the course.
I look over to Agrias and ask him what he thinks our next move should be
It's time to go to
in terms
recruit.
of preparation.
Agrias.
Okay.
Then Agrias, where were you guys going to go?
The guild.
Okay. So you guys is everyone going to the guild, or are you guys going to go your separate ways?
I'm not gonna go to the guild. I should really not be around there. We might not get hires if I'm there.
Okay, so where are you going to go?
I want to talk to Melinda a little bit, and then I
Okay,
also
you're
want
going to
to
stay
go
here
and
then for the time being.
yeah,
What about you,
for the
Brixton?
I'll go to the guild with them, but I'll also mention that I know some barbarians down at the shorefront to talk to.
Okay.
Okay,
Is the shorefront on the way to the guild or no?
opposite
No.
direction.
Okay.
What's the? Have we seen the barbarian from last night around town?
No, you haven't.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Uh,
talking to the sheriff and asking a few questions about him if he knows.
Okay. So Agrias, then you're going to lead the Brixton and Rainmar over to the guild, while Arion remains here at the tavern. Agrias,
That is correct.
Agrias, the trip to the guild is very short. It's basically across the street and just up the way slightly. It's first thing in the morning, and you guys arrived probably in the mid-afternoon yesterday when you were there. You realize that early in the morning is generally when everyone is there, because as you walk into the building, you can see that there's probably 30 people milling around the boards looking at different things. Brixton, right away you recognize the two dwarves that you saw the other day. The barbarians you do not see, but you do see those two dwarves. Rainmar, right away you notice that the barbarian that you saw, that you confronted in the streets, is in the corner talking to the guildmaster. Kind of animated discussion, whatever they're talking about. Agrias, since you've been handed the lead right now by Rainmar, how do you want to handle this? What do you guys want to do?
Let's have Brixton approach the dwarves first.
Okay, you guys are going to follow him up?
Yeah.
Okay, Brixton, you going to walk? Are you going to agree to that?
Yeah. Because it's Ginny and Merrick, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. So I'll call out Ginny, Merrick, and
Ginny looks.
kinda
They both look over their shoulder. Merrick just goes ahead and looks back at the boards. Ginny looks over. She goes, "Hello, hello." Turns around, walks over to you, puts out her hand. It's good to see you again.
yeah, I shake her hand. Likewise.
Mhm.
Have you
Her
guys found?
hand, by the way, is probably twice as broad as yours. Dwarves are built a little bit different than gnomes, where gnomes are kind of slight. Dwarves are very stout. She's very strong. It's clear to you. She's got chainmail armor on. Her hair is done in twin braids that come down her shoulders. Her beard is all in nice pleats that come down her chin. She's got a big battle axe across her back. You here to get a job?
No, we're here looking to hire.
Oh,
You
really?
guys need a job?
Well, we're always listening. Merrick, come here. Merrick kind of turns over and walks over. She looks up. She goes, "Who are your friends?"
This is Raymar and Agrias.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Rainmar. Agrias. She
This
goes
is
and shakes
Ginny
your
and
hand.
Merrick.
This is my brother. This is my brother, Merrick. She goes, he's a mute. She kind of glares over at him. He goes, "I'm not a mute." She goes, well, what are you hiring for?
Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure. Absolutely. She goes, are you? She goes, she looks over at both of you. She goes, looks over at Raymar again. She goes, you've got human blood, don't you?
Of course.
She nods. She smiles. She goes, very good, very good. What are you hiring for?
We're looking to transport 6 caravans and workers 3 days south along the coastal road.
She nods. What are we looking at for danger?
Unknown. Fairly pretty much anything.
South along the coastal road, that's bandit territory, you know.
It is.
What's the
And
pay?
then
Merrick says.
I believe was it 5 or 10 a day?
5. You guys are getting 10 a day.
5.
Okay. 5 a day.
She looks over at Merrick. Merrick's like, I don't see this job up on any of the boards over there. How do I know this is official?
Do we still have the job slip?
You do?
Can I show it?
Yeah.
Can
Show
Rainmar
job
show it?
slip. He holds it in his hand. Reads it over. Seems a nod. Ginny says, listen, she goes, you just got into town yesterday, you told me. How is it that you're hiring people already?
We work quick.
I see that. I'm impressed, she says. You've already managed to make yourself kind of a big wheel. You've also managed to make yourself a pretty good enemy. She looks over her shoulder at the barbarian. He's still talking to the guildmaster.
He's harmless.
I wouldn't go though so far. He's been trashing your name all morning.
Some people just can't handle their
Well,
drink.
that's funny. 'Cause
She looks over at Raymar. How's it funny?
And I don't even reply. I just walk straight over to the barbarian and the guildmaster.
Agrias, what are you gonna do? You gonna back him up, or are you gonna sit here with the dwarves?
I think
I don't
Brixton
need
has the.
backup.
Okay, I'm gonna just make sure Brixton's okay then.
Okay. She says, "Well, it's a good thing." She goes, "That we met you the other day. I've been trying to tell people that you seem okay to me, but you're already starting to get kind of a bad name around town."
Yeah, some people just get jealous.
Yeah, and like you said, they can't handle their drink either. Meanwhile, in the corner of the room, Rainmar is walking over to this barbarian. He's in the middle of talking to Corvus, and he says, "You hear the end of the conversation." He says something like, "Well, if I can't talk to the employer, then I don't want the job." He looks over at you. You're back. Corvus just kind of stands there and looks over at you.
Who? This is the guildmaster or the barbarian?
The guildmaster just looks over at you. The barbarian says, "Oh, you're back. What do you want?"
I am. I came to introduce myself officially, and I put my hand out.
He looks down at your hand. Turns over at the side of spits on the floor. He goes, "I don't need to talk to you. I think we said everything that we need
Not
to
about
say
need.
yesterday.
I want.
I think we said
It's really
everything we
not
needed.
about need.
I think we said everything we need that needed to be said yesterday." Corvus looks over at him. He goes, "Herrick," he goes, "I'm telling you one time." He goes, "You start something in here." He goes, "You're not welcome back." He goes, "This man over here is trying to introduce himself to you. He's being a gentleman. Return the favor. Show some respect." The barbarian looks pissed, but he reaches out his hand. He goes, "Herrick of Marner."
I'm Renmar.
He nods. Corvus looks over at him. "There, was that hard?" Herrick just grumbles. He goes, "Where's the rest of your buddies?" He looks around. He sees them. He goes, "Oh, there they are." He goes, "I didn't recognize them without their bows out."
I look over at Brixton and say, he'll be the first to taste my blade.
I'll just pat my cloak where I keep my hand crossbow.
Ginny looks over at you too. She goes, "Easy, boys, easy." He goes, "I think your friend's got this under control.
If
This
you
isn't where you guys want to start a fight." Corvus is
you do not want to start a fight in the mercenaries guild, dude.
he goes, "Corvus is a tough guy." He goes, "I think he could take all of us put together." Well, maybe not you. She points over to Grias. She goes, "But the rest of you."
I look over at Brixton and say, if they approach Rangmar, you have my sword, and we get to him as fast as possible.
Ginny looks over at Brixton. She goes, "You have my axe as well." Merrick goes, "What are you talking about? You don't even know this guy." He goes, "I'm a good judge of character, all right?" He goes, "These two are very friendly to us the other day. You want to be like him?" She points over at Herrick. "Do you want to be like him all your life, or do you want to actually be a gentleman? Try and act like you've done this before." Meanwhile, in the corner, Rainmar, you're with the barbarian. He kind of just turns his back on you and walks away. Corvus looks at you. He goes, "I apologize for his behavior." He goes, "But I can tell you this." He goes, you're in no danger while you're inside of my guild hall." He goes, "As long as you conduct yourself as you've been, like a gentleman and a professional," he goes, "you have nothing to worry about." He goes, "I appreciate
Thank you, sir. I'll have.
your level head."
Unfortunately, I'm not done speaking to Herrick.
He nods. He goes, "Is it the kind of speaking that would be better done out back?"
No, it's the kind of speaking that's done better with silver pieces.
"By all means." He takes a step back. He says, "I'll give you some credit." He says,
So I just
"Rainmar, I think you said. I like you. You've got guts."
more than you know.
Okay, so you go walk.
And
Go ahead.
if things don't go my way, we'll get to see Harrick's guts, which is also nice, you know.
Ginny looks over at you two, at Grias and Brix, and she goes, "Oh, I like this one." She goes, "Don't you guys think humans are fascinating? Their lives are so short. They pack so much into such a short time. They've got so much energy. They do." She looks over at him, goes, Merrick's like, "Ginny." She goes, "You can ask him out later if you want. Give the man some peace. I want to see how this plays out too." He looks over at you, Agrias and Brixton. He goes, "If something happens," he goes, "you have my axe on this one too."
I put out my hand to shake.
He shakes your hand. He goes, "Merrick Magma Born." Goes, "Listen," he goes, "I apologize for my behavior." He goes, it's just tough to trust people in this business. I keep trying to tell Ginny this, but she seems to be real eager to get taken advantage of, and I have to rein her in a lot. I'm a big girl, Merrick. "Yeah, I know," he goes, "and that's part of the problem." Meanwhile, Agrias or Rainmar, you're approaching the barbarian Herrick over. He's reading another notice. You kind of are approaching him. He goes, "You know I can see you," he says without turning around.
Well, I hope she's right here.
He turns around. He goes, "Say your piece and move along."
My piece. Oh, well, I'm not really about peace, but
"You could have fooled me," he
someone,
goes.
are you on the job?
"No, not yet." He goes, "Why do you ask?"
How would you like to be? How would you like to be? I want to hire someone who's not afraid of a fight.
"Let me get this right. The other day, I call you out into the middle of the street. We're about ready to draw steel on one another. Your friends come up behind me with arrows into my back. Now you want to hire me? Are you sure you have the right guy?
Positive.
He starts laughing. Just this chortling belly laugh. He goes, I've never met someone like you before. He goes, I'm impressed. He goes, that takes a lot of guts. What's the job?
Come with me. Let's talk to my fellows.
How do you know that? How do I know that you can trust that I can trust you? And how do you know that you can trust me?
If you couldn't trust me, you'd be dead already.
You hear Corvus in the corner start chuckling to himself. Quiet, you. But you make kind of a strange kind of sense. Let's talk to these friends of yours. He
I
goes,
get that a lot.
hopefully they know how to keep their bows in their pockets.
This
He
guy.
comes over, looks at you.
So
guys.
we get over there.
What do you got?
Yeah, I introduce Agrias as our foreman.
Okay. Oh, I recognize you. He says. So I recognize you both. So you're in charge of this operation. He looks over at Agrias. What's the job? Your friend here wants to hire me.
Have you decided yet?
Not until I find out what the job is.
It's the job that you get paid for.
He looks over at Rainmar like, is this guy for real? Ginny says, all you need to know about this job is that me and my brother just took it. Merrick looks over at her like, what? What just happened here? He goes, all you need to know is that we just took this job too. It's 5 silver a day. Take it or leave it. I thought you had guts, Herrick. You talk big when we're in the tavern. He goes, but now when the rubber hits the road, he goes, you want nothing to do with it. He looks over at her. Looks over up at you. How much danger is involved?
Unknown. It's in bandit territory.
He looks over at Rainmar. Looks back over at you guys. 5 silver a day. It's an official job.
Correct.
You're not going to try and
It is.
you're not going to try anything odd, are you?
No.
Not on
Not
you.
odd enough without trying.
Merrick hands up the piece of paper. He goes, here's the listing. They had it up just yesterday. He looks down at it. He goes, oh, I saw this one. He goes, how do you... He goes, these people over here that want to hire you. I didn't take this job for a reason. He goes, there's so many unknowns. He goes, how do you figure that that this is going to be a decent job?
Because we're on it.
He nods. All right, then. He says, 5 silver it is. He goes, I'm staying right now over at the mercenary house. He goes, when the time comes for you to leave town, he goes, make sure you get me.
Well met.
He shakes your hand. He goes, but I want you to know this. He goes, if any of you, including your freaky friend that's not here right now, he goes, you guys try to double cross me. He goes, you'll know what it means to double cross Herrick Marner.
Cross me, I'll nail you to it.
I'm strangely comfortable with that.
Ginny goes over. She's about as tall as Brixton. She goes, is he always like this?
Yep.
Do you know who he is?
I know enough.
No. On his forehead, the sigil. Do you know what that means?
Do I?
No.
I know.
She looks at you. Where are you staying tonight?
The Chuckling Centaur.
I'll meet you there maybe we can all have dinner together, my brother and I and you, and I think I want to tell you a little bit about your friend over here. That's a
I'd love to hear.
that's a dangerous man. She nods.
Perfect. I'll have to be there an hour after sundown to perform.
To
Come
perform.
on. Yeah. Rainmar and I are in a band. It's great.
She looks up at him and looks over at you. She looks at Grias. She goes, "Is he being serious? They're in a band?"
Yes.
They're getting the band back together.
I can't wait to see this. I'll be there for sure.
Gonna be a good show.
I'll let everybody know at the mercenary house. When they find out that there's a bunch of mercenaries that are playing in a band down there, I'm sure everybody's going to want to come.
Perfect.
Great place to recruit.
She said, yeah, she looks over at you. She goes, absolutely. She goes, unless they suck. Okay, meanwhile, going back to Arion. Arion, you're over at the Chuckling Centaur still with Melindra.
Yeah. Yeah, I
She's
just
sitting
had
there
a
behind the
couple.
bar. She goes, well, all of your friends just left and you stuck around. She goes, so obviously you have some business here with us. Hey, thank you very much, Will. Good to see you, buddy.
Yep. Just a couple miscellaneous questions. Nothing really major.
Okay.
I'm sending a letter off with the colonel. I guess he's returning to Marner tomorrow,
Oh, okay, good.
and for looking for people. And I told in my letter I had mentioned that when they come into, if they decide they want to come on as a hire type of thing, to talk to me. But I figured I wanted to let you know to have them that I was going to have them talk to you so you could get a hold of me
Well,
in
I'll
my
let you
room.
in on a secret. What?
Yes,
Your name was?
Arian Marquesas.
Oh, Arian, Mr. Marquesas. I'll let you in on a secret, Mr. Marquesas. The
Yes.
Everett family both hired me as well as a couple other people in town as points of contact um, to direct any inquiries about the job directly to them. So I'm already on the payroll. She
Okay. Well,
smiles.
I just, in case they mention my name, you're like, what are you talking about? So I just want to let you in on the loop and everything.
Well, I appreciate that, she says.
And
But
me being
I
who
want
I
you to
am,
know something. She goes, the people that you're working for, the Everins, you can
yes,
trust them. They're good people.
I sort of figured that. Just a read that I had.
She nods.
So
Yeah, she goes, they're very good people. I know you mercenaries are often worried about whether you're going to get paid at the end of a job or not. It's not going to be a concern. These people are pretty trustworthy.
well, that's sort of what I took out of it anyway. Also, um, and you know, he's military. I'm not really military, but I work with the people up at the border security and border guards area, so
Mhm.
I'm used to that regimental type of attitude.
It
So I
shows,
can see
she
that.
says, looking up and down. She goes, look at the way you keep yourself in your armor. She goes, I can tell you're military.
It's not super trained with a lot of the adventuring, but we're working on it.
She nods.
Um, the other couple, other than touching base with you than that, I was just wondering, is there any kind of shop in this small town that might have different magic items like a potion or stuff like
She
that? Or
laughs. She
no,
says, she goes, if there was somebody in town that was selling magic items, she goes, this would be the most popular town in the Flanness.
okay. Oh, you never know. It never hurts to ask.
But she says, if you want to talk to someone about a potion, why don't you talk to the brewmistress over at the Blushing Nereid? Her name is Elin.
Okay, Elin.
Elin, yeah, Elin Hutner. She's a druid.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, she's the brewmistress over there. She's a priestess of Wenta.
Priest of what?
Wenta, the goddess of well, the goddess of autumn. She goes, but she's also the goddess of beer.
Okay, sounds good. I will do so. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And other than that, hopefully we please you guys over here.
Oh,
So
very, very good.
most,
Oh, and one more thing,
um,
Mr. Marquesas. Make
yes,
sure you pull your hood down. It's a little high.
I hate that.
She nods. It's
I won't. I won't be out here performing and doing stuff. I'll most likely be in the room just so I don't cause a lot of issues.
Well, I
But
appreciate that.
if
Thank you
I'm
very
out here, I
much.
want
She
to
goes, but I want you to know, she goes, I pay people good coin to make sure that there's no trouble in here. So if anyone gives you any problems, you let me know.
Okay, sounds good. I'll just, if anything, I'll be in the shadows, just
Okay,
watching. You know,
very good.
I'm out in the woods anyway.
So what are you
But
going to do
thank you.
from there, Ariane?
So thank you much. And so I'm gonna leave, and I would like to go and talk to the sheriff.
Okay, so you
And
start heading down the street to the sheriff's. Meanwhile, back
yes,
over at the mercenary guild, what are the three of you guys going to do? Agrias?
We are going to have a glass of brandy with our newfound partners.
Okay, so you guys are going to go to the tavern, or are you guys going to go to the inn?
In.
Okay.
The tavern.
Oh, tavern inn. I heard two different things.
Is the tavern's the Blushing Myriad?
Yeah, the Blushing Nereid is the tavern. The Chuckling Centaur is the inn.
The tavern's where the druid's at.
I thought
Those-
I had conflated the two. I had combined those two together. I thought the Nereid bar was in the Centaur Inn.
No,
Okay,
it's
got
not.
it.
What
Nope, yep.
the way it works, Jeremy, is the relationship is that the tavern actually supplies the drinks to the inn. That's the
okay.
relationship
Got it.
between the two.
Got
Tavern
it.
it is.
It's clear now.
So you
Yeah.
guys start walking over to the tavern, the three of you. Merrick and Ginny are in tow. Herrick decides that he mentioned he's going to go back to the guild house right now, to the mercenary house. Ginny's walking with you guys. Merrick is in tow. Ginny looks over at Brixton. She goes, I'm mildly surprised that all things considered, that you guys haven't run into any trouble here. You guys have managed to make to keep a pretty low profile. I'm very impressed. Rainmar.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I'm gonna break off from the group here and head to the blacksmith. How close am I to that?
Probably about maybe 700 yards.
Okay,
By
I'm
the
gonna
way,
break off to the blacksmith.
as you guys are walking down the way, you see Arion leaving the inn, and he's going south down the road ahead of you. Rainmar breaks off from your group, and he's kind of following him. So meanwhile,
Okay.
Ginny talks to you, Agrias and Brixton. She's like, your friend's taking off.
Yes.
Oh, suppose he doesn't want a brandy, huh?
He doesn't hold his liquor very well.
Okay.
Which is fine because no one holds their liquor better than our Brixton Beholder's Bane.
Oh, is that true? She goes. Merrick goes.
No
Merrick
one
goes.
does.
Do you think you can drink a dwarf under the table?
I have seen Brixton do it.
named Ralph.
I can
Well-
drink anything under the table.
He smiles. He goes, "This I can't wait to see." He goes, "The day a gnome drinks me under the table is going to be a cold day in hell."
Oh, he just sits on the floor under the table and they'll drink.
So you guys end up going to the tavern. Outside in front of it, there's a sign that says the Blushing Nereid. It's very easy to see. The building is kind of an L-shaped wood and plaster building, single floor. You guys walk through the doors of the place. It's a long bar down one side of it. Guy behind the counter kind of looks at you guys up and down. Welcome to the Blushing Nereid. What can I do for you?
A table for four, please.
Take your pick. a table everywhere. Tables out there everywhere. He comes around the table and kind of follows you. Ginny says, "I think this one would be nice." All the way in the back.
Perfect.
So Ginny and Merrick sit down. The guy comes over. He goes, "My name's Gendor." He goes, I'm the proprietor of the building." He goes, "What can I interest you in?"
Well met, Gendor. 4 brandies, please.
Very
Unless Jenny and Reverick have a particular
Yes,
poison.
actually, I'd like the. Ginny goes, I'd like a wine, please." Merrick looks embarrassed as hell. He's like, Merrick goes, "I'd like the house brandy." He goes, very good, house brandy, and 3 house brandies and a wine. Ginny looks over and looks over at him. She goes, "What? I like wine." He just shakes his head because it's not even proper
No judgment.
wine. So Merrick says, "When do we leave?"
When do we leave?
He looks over at
When
you.
we find everybody.
How many people is everyone?
In 3 days. We leave in
3 days, thank you.
3
3
days.
days.
He goes, "All right."
How many people do we have?
How many?
We
Yeah,
have-
he goes, "How many people are we looking for, really?" He goes, it's the 4 of you, myself, my sister, and Herrick." He goes, "I can't believe your friend hired him."
I can. He seems the type.
"Yeah, but we're gonna have to watch our backs on this whole trip, you know."
You have nothing to worry about.
No.
He looks over at you. He goes, "And you have nothing to worry about." He smiles back. So the bartender comes back over. Gendor comes over. 3 brandies and a wine for the lady. Puts them all down. She picks up her glass. She raises it to you. She goes, "To our fellowship."
To the fellowship.
She drinks. Everybody drinks. The brandy is pretty. It's actually really, really high quality brandy. Brixton, I need you to make a Constitution check. Roll me a 20,
Yeah.
please. Okay, you're all right. You're all right now.
All right, I look at Reverick and I push my glass over to Brixton and I say, "This needs to be a fair challenge, dwarf friend."
He goes, "Well, I'd have my sister push her glass over, but I refuse to drink any wine." He goes, "I'll tell you what, Beholder's Bane." He goes, "If you're worthy of that name," he goes, "I'll buy," he goes, "as long as you can drink them."
Oh God.
Oh wow.
He goes, "But," he goes, "the second you can't hold your liquor," he goes, "you pay for everyone." Fair deal?
Ooh.
You're hesitant.
Okay, hang on. Hey, Matt, Brixton, before you answer. Carlos, can I, during this drink challenge,
Oh no, don't you dare.
can I cast sleep on Revik?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, to help out Brixton?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to let them do it for a little bit, but eventually when I see Brixton start
There
failing.
goes Gendor. He goes, 4 brandies. He goes, "You may need to bring the whole cask over here if my friend Brixton can handle his cups as well as I hear." He pats him on the back.
Oh, God.
Wow.
He lines them up on the side of the
You
table.
guys are assholes.
Ginny looks over at you, Brixton. She goes, "You don't have to do this if you don't want to. You don't have to prove that you're some kind of legendary hero in front of my stupid brother."
He doesn't have to prove anything, Jenny. It's just to state it's a fact. He can handle his
nothing
drink.
to prove.
I respect
I
the
go
man
by
that can
many
handle-
titles.
He goes.
Beholder's Bane is just one of them.
He lifts his cup of brandy. He goes, to the Beholder's Bane clan. Pounds back a thing of brandy. You gonna do the same?
I'm gonna pound back 2.
He's gonna make me two Constitution checks, please.
I mean, I'm gonna, yeah. 8.
And
19.
oh, that third one hit you hard. The room is getting blurry. You're not feeling so hot. You guys are both in the drink 3. You hit yours back. He goes, oh, he goes, I like to see that. He goes, a challenge. He pounds his 2 back. He looks over at you. He goes, you're looking a little green, Beholders Bane. He goes, 4 more. Ginny just shakes her head. Agrias, are you gonna hit him?
I'm gonna hit him. Yeah, I'm gonna hit him with sleep.
Okay. I assume that you're gonna try and make this as under the radar as you can.
As much as possible.
I need you to roll me a 20.
Okay.
I think under the table is the way to say it.
Under the table, yeah. I rolled a 15, boss.
Okay. So, Brixton, the room is starting to spin. You're starting to feel terrible. He pounds back 1. He looks at you. He says, I'm good for... And his head just hits the table out cold. Ginny's like, oh, that's never happened before. She looks over at you. She goes, you beat him.
I'm gonna hold up another glass and I say, I know.
You're going to drink it?
I'm gonna drink it.
Make me a
I
20.
mean, it's only fair if I have the same amount of drinks as he does, you know.
Make me a 20.
8.
Okay, you managed to keep it down. You're through right now as a gnome. You're thinking Agrias is gonna have to carry you back to the inn at this point in time. Meanwhile, Ginny goes over. She goes, "Well, a deal is a deal." She reaches over into Merrick's coin purse and pulls out a bunch of coins and puts them on the table. Jendor looks over at you guys. He goes, "I'm pretty impressed." He goes, he goes, that dwarf over there has won at least 40 drinks since he's been in town. Looks over at you, Boulder's Bane. You must have caught him on a good day. Usually he's good for about 7 or 8 more brandies.
I could have taken him on a bad day.
Meanwhile, going back to these guys over here. Rainmar, you're going down the street. Are you going to try and catch up to Arion? You can see him from behind.
Is he headed?
He's heading
Is
the
he
same
headed
direction
to
as
the
you.
blacksmith?
He's heading the same direction as you.
I can. I mean, I'm headed to the blacksmith, so I don't know if I catch to the blacksmith before I get to
Yeah,
him.
you'll
or
be able to catch him. Arion, you're kind of you're walking kind of minding your own business. You're just passing where the flower girls are selling their wares, and Rainmar kind of walks up beside you.
Hey. Oh,
How are things shaping up?
oh, not bad. I was just giving Melinda a little bit of heads up on if I've got people coming in from the north to come talk to me and so on. And I was just wondering, about a couple different magic, if there's any magic stuff where there isn't really. Potions possibly if we talk to somebody at the Nereid, to the druid over there.
As you guys are talking and walking down the road, there's a figure that's heading towards you. It's an immense human woman with a battle axe across her back, wearing chainmail armor. She's got flaming red hair that's done back into a single braid behind her head. Keep going.
Okay. And as in
What's up?
conversation, as I'm telling him I'm heading over to the sheriff right now, just to give him heads up on that little incident we had with our barbarian friend yesterday, and maybe get some kind of reassurance to him or otherwise, or any kind of information on the guy. So,
Well, that'll be easy. That's going to be pretty easy now, considering that I hired him for the job.
Oh shit.
Keeping
Oh,
it
okay.
interesting.
As you guys are talking, this woman is clearly walking right up towards you two. She looks over, she goes, "Hail, friends." She goes, "My understanding is that you are friends of the Bane of Beholders."
Yeah.
Well, friend is a strong word. I mean, we know him.
She nods.
I
As
consider
we know
it-
the guy.
She goes, "Do you know where he can be found?"
Usually under a table.
This doesn't surprise me. Yesterday, he came to the shoreline, and he tried to throw himself into the sea 3-4 times in a row. I had to save his life once.
It doesn't surprise me.
It's an odd gnome, that one.
He's fun.
Oh, yeah. I think he would be odd no matter what race he was.
She nods. She goes, "Yes, I sense that in him. He's a very troubled soul, I think, which is part of why I need to find him." So you say it underneath a table. I suspect then the inn or the tavern, maybe?
Probably the tavern.
Thank you. She goes, "I appreciate your time." She walks
No
back, keeps
problem.
walking.
He
out.
doesn't have a drinking problem.
No?
No, he just has a problem with choosing his friends.
Well, perhaps he needs new friends then. She nods.
Oh, no doubt. We would love that.
She walks she walks past you. She goes, "If you should see him before I do, tell him that someone's looking for him." Keeps walking.
Oh, you'll find him under the table at the tavern.
She keeps walking. Okay,
All right.
so you guys are in the middle of the road, and the news has just been broken to you, Ariana, about he hired the barbarian.
How did you do that?
Well, with money.
With mommy? you cut out. I didn't hear
With
that.
money.
Oh, okay.
With money and the promise of a fight.
Okay. Hopefully not with us.
For
Although,
his benefit.
yeah.
At this point in time, you guys are the reason why it was easy for you to catch up with him, Rainmar, becomes obvious. The blacksmith is right across the street from the sheriff's.
Okay.
So are you guys still going to go to the sheriff's area now that you know about this?
I mean, I want to reassure him, and just give him reassurance again, and just because we didn't talk that close, and I want to say I'm not going to provoke anything. Just if something happens,
Okay. So you
I
go
don't know.
over to the sheriff's office. Rainmar, you head over to the blacksmith's. I'll start with you first, Rainmar.
I'm done here. I'll come and visit you at the blacksmith, or vice versa.
Rainmar, as you start to
I'll
approach
be headed.
as you start to approach the blacksmith's, you hear dogs barking. He's got obviously a couple dogs at least in his place. As I mentioned the other day, it's very open air. When you walk in towards the building, all it is like a lean-to with posts as a front, and the sign, the iron shod wheel there. He's currently working at an anvil with a bellows. He's pounding on a piece of metal. Looks over at you. He's only got one arm, as I mentioned before, too. So this thing is kind of in a clamp. He's sitting there pounding on it. Looks over at you. Goes, "Oh, well met again." He goes, "Your name was Rainmar, right?"
Correct. Thank you.
Good. What can I do for you?
A couple of things. First of all, and I draw my blade out, is there anything you can do to improve my sword?
Why don't you put it on the table here? Looks at it.
So I lay it out.
This comes from a long way away. He looks over at it. He looks over at you. He goes, "You're not from Radek, are you?"
No, I'm not.
Runs his fingers across it. This looks like human work. Had a guess. It's not a bad sword, he goes, but might be able to do something with it. So what are you looking for? Lighter? A little bit more punishing? Because what are you looking for with it?
Both.
Both. Well, he says, I can save you some time if you're interested. He goes, I have something over here that might be interested in. Come with me. Dogs kind of are walking up. They're kind of looking
Okay.
at you, sniffing at you. These dogs, they come up to you, they look at you, they sniff at you, they don't bark. They stop barking immediately when they see you. As soon as they see you and they start sniffing at you, they kind of get their bellies low to the ground. Like,
Wise.
yeah. He looks over at you. He goes, these dogs. He goes, that's not usually how they act around people. He goes, usually they sniff first and then bite them. Goes, you a dog man?
I suspect that your dogs haven't very often met somebody who will bite back.
He goes, no, I suspect they haven't. He comes over. He says, this sword over here. He goes, this sword is of dwarven make. Right over here. It was made by a group called Law's Forge. Quite a ways away like yourself. He goes, it's a bastard sword. He pulls it down and hands it to you. Because the balance is a lot better than your sword, but he goes, you can notice that a lot of the weight over here is at the tip. He goes, it's going to do...
Yep.
He goes, it's going to chew armor up pretty good. Because it might take you a little while to get used to it. He goes, I don't know how accomplished of a swordsman you are. He goes, but I think it's better than what you've got.
How much?
Looks at you, says 25 gold.
Can we make it 20? I'm starting to run short here.
If you give me your old sword, I'll give it to you for 25 or for 20. He goes, I tell you what, if you give me your old sword, he goes, I'll give it to you for 15.
I'll give you 20 gold now, and I'll have to go to the bank and withdraw a little bit of gold to pay you back,
He goes,
to pay the rest.
He
Can
goes,
I give you the balance later this evening?
I'll tell you what. He goes, looks at you. What if we make an arrangement for this? He says, I see you're a musician. He points at your guitar. I'm going to be bringing somebody.
Not much of one, sir, but I do try.
I'm going to be bringing someone tonight over to the Chuckling Centaur. I hear there's a band playing tonight. Because supposedly they have a very good show. But all I know is, he says that after their show is over, whoever this band is, he goes, perhaps you could play a particular song for me and this person I'm bringing to the inn. He goes, if you're willing to do that, he goes, I'm willing to give you the sword for 15.
Do you have the sheet music for the song?
No, he goes, but it's a pretty famous song. He goes, I'm sure you already know it. Because it's the bat.
Do I know it? I mean, is it?
Yes, he goes, it's Alluvia's song. It's a famous love song. You know the song.
Okay, so do I need to roll? Do I need to roll for it, or how does that work?
No, you know the song. It's very famous.
Okay.
What
Okay.
will happen is when you get to the bar, though, and it comes time to perform it, you'll need to roll then to see how well you play it. Modify
Got it.
if you
That's
decide to
fine.
practice, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
15 for the sword, then, if you're willing to play the song for my friend and I.
Absolutely. I give him the 15 gold, but I have 2 other requests for the blacksmith.
Well, very good. He goes, what else? He goes, thank you for doing business with me. He looks over at the dogs. The dogs are still on their bellies, kind of whimpering.
I kneel down and pet the dogs.
They immediately perk up a little bit. They're all kind of wagging their tails and their tongues out. They feel accepted now. So
Are the
you do have a way with dogs.
canines for sale?
What's that? What do you say?
Are the canines for sale?
Not these two, but I have another one in the back that is. He goes, but I don't know if you want that one. He goes, she's pretty wild.
I think that's what I'm looking for. Can I see her?
Well, sure, I'll go get her. Don't go anywhere. Goes around the back. He goes, by the way, he goes, I'm warning you. He goes, if she bites you, she goes, you're on your own. He goes, I warned you. He comes up.
You should warn her also.
She doesn't understand a thing I say. I've got to keep her on a leash. He goes in the back. He comes back about 5 minutes later with this dog. Jeremy, roll me a 20-sider.
18.
Right away, you recognize this dog is at least half wolf. Right away. He's like, calm down. She's pulling at the thing. She stops dead when she sees you. Doesn't move. Just is looking at you.
He's got her on a rope?
Got her on a rope. He has no idea.
I tell him to let go of the rope.
He goes, all right, he says, but I'm telling you, because if something bad happens, he goes, it's on you. He lets go of the rope, kind of backs off a little bit. Dog doesn't move. Just looks at you.
I sit down on the ground. And gesture for her to come toward me.
The dog starts circling around you real slow, walking around. Starts sniffing at you when it's at your back. Kind of leans over and starts sniffing at you. Comes back around to the front of you. Comes closer. Meanwhile, the blacksmith is just staring at you guys in wrath, like, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. Goes, you must be some kind of ranger or a druid or something, huh?
Not yet, but I'm headed there.
Huh. He goes, well, you're off to a good start. He goes, I haven't seen this dog not bite someone. Dog kind of comes over and sits in front of you. Gets on her belly. Rolls over onto her back.
I give her a kiss on the forehead right here.
Dog starts panting a little bit. He goes, you want her, you can have her, friend. He goes, it's not really fair for me to keep her tied up in the back anyway. Been trying to get her to be a little bit nicer of a dog, he goes, but I think she likes you way better than she likes me.
No, I'm not necessarily looking for a nice dog. I have to ask you something else, though.
Yeah?
You ever made armor for a dog before?
No, I never have made armor for a dog, but I love a challenge. I would love to make armor for you.
There's your challenge.
What are you looking for? Are you looking for leather? Are you looking for chain? Are you looking for plate?
Let's go a combination of leather and chain. She's got to be fast.
Very well. He goes, come back in 2 days. I'll have something for her to try on.
And last but not least, I have one final favor before I leave.
And that is?
I have a friend whose visage is a little unsettling for the people around here.
Yeah.
I want to commission a mask for him.
Nods. Leather?
Anything light, elvish.
Elvish. Well, I might have to talk to Tenevri.
Doesn't need to be.
Oh,
I might have to talk to Tenevri about that. He goes to get an idea for some designs, but maybe cloth would be best then.
Absolutely. I'll leave it to you. It's a gift.
Come back in 3 hours. I'll have some.
You got it. All right. I take off with my dog.
Okay. The dog kind of just hesitantly follows you. It looks like it's not really sure what to. It looks wild-eyed around at the whole world as it's running behind you. Meanwhile, Arion, you and
Then
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Raymar.
I was just gonna say I gotta take the dwarven sword. I strap that to my back, and I'm out.
Okay. Arion, you walk into the sheriff's office. Sheriff's office is like a one-room building. He's sitting there behind a desk, working at some papers. He looks up at you. He goes, "Good to see you again." He goes, "What can I do for you?"
well, you said that if there's any issues I wanted to come and talk to you about, I just wanted to give you an update on there was a little bit of a altercation in the streets last night.
He's got
Nothing.
a flag on his table. He takes a quick drink of it. I heard about it. He goes, I heard that you and your friends handled yourselves pretty well.
Yeah, I don't know anything. I don't know about the guy. I wanted to get some information on what you know about him, and I just wanted to keep you abreast of that.
Well, his name is Herrick. He goes, he comes from Marner. He's a small-time barbarian. I know that he worked for some of the gangs up in Marner for a long time. He goes, but he's pretty rough. Most people stay away from him. He goes, that's pretty much what I know about him.
All right.
He goes, I'm much obliged for you guys not ending his life there in the middle of the street. He goes, I would have done something. He goes, and frankly, he goes, I don't know what I would have done. He goes, it seemed to me that your friend was defending himself.
Well, I told you that I didn't want to cause any problems, so I'm keeping to that. And I'm not going to provoke anything, but I'm not going to promise if something happens, I'm not going to defend myself and my friends.
I would expect you to. He goes, let me explain something to you about the laws of our town. He goes, I have a lot of latitude to make decisions about what should and shouldn't happen in the event of a crime. Mayor Ratner lets me make a lot of decisions like that. He goes, if your friend was defending himself and we can prove that, or if you're defending yourself and we can prove that, you have nothing to worry about.
All right. Thank you very much.
Right.
And I want to get a second opinion on something here. And just because I'm just the person I am, I'm always looking for just information more than anything.
He looks kind of down while you're in the middle of talking to him. Kind of looks a little distracted. Keep talking.
I'll make quick so you can get back to work. But I was just curious as to what you think of the colonel. Apparently, he's got good reputation here.
What do I think about the colonel? I think the colonel is loaded, is what I think. With all the people he's hiring, all the timber he's bringing into town, whatever he's doing, he's got a lot of backing, and whatever he's doing must be pretty important.
Okay. But as far as character.
Oh, he seems like a perfect gentleman to me.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Thank you for your time. And,
you're welcome. And by the way, before you leave, maybe you could get your Wolverine out from underneath my desk. He keeps looking down again.
The bias, get out of there.
You can see his tail underneath the thing, kind of shaking around underneath the desk. Kind of comes around, looks back up at you. He goes, "Thanks."
Treat. Here's a treat. Get out, please. He's not too bad. He's just a little bit temperamental.
He's a Wolverine. I would expect him to be. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay, back at the tavern. Uh, area Agrias and Brixton, you're there with Ginny and her brother. Brixton, it's pretty ugly for you right now. You're loaded as hell. The doors open up to the tavern, and the barbarian woman from yesterday comes walking into the tavern.
Her name was Sylvain, right?
So vague. Yeah, she comes walking in. She takes her axe. She puts out Beholder's Bane. She points it at you.
That's me.
Jenny kind of looks over. Grias, you see her hand kind of shift over to her hand axe. She's sitting there talking. She walks over. She goes, "I would have words with you." Comes
Okay.
over at your table. She looks you up and down. She goes, "You're drunk again. Did you ever stop drinking?
It's,
You're worse than my brother."
oh, I should go to the ocean and I'll sober up.
You will go nowhere near the ocean. I'd have words with you first. She goes, "I'm wroth with fury at you."
You don't like cheap parlor tricks?
"Parlor tricks?" She says, "No, my understanding is you're hiring mercenaries and you didn't speak to me about the job. You
Oh,
called me your friend and then you won't speak to me about a job when you're hiring.
whoa.
And you come to me and I
Wait,
come to you finally and you're drunk."
we were on our way there. This was a stop.
She looks over at you, Agrias. She goes, "Your friend here. Is he always like this?"
No, he is not.
"You were coming to see me then. Isn't that a coincidence?"
It is. It is. We were. And your brother Bjorn?
Bjorn is in too.
Great.
So what is this you're hiring for?
Talk to that guy. And I point to Agrias.
She looks over. "What would be your name, friend?"
My name is Agrias.
"My name is Solveig. I'm a woman of the Kruski." She nods.
Well met.
She says, "You have a mission. Speak to me."
In 3 days, we leave to lead a caravan south into bandit territory, unknown danger, 5 silver a day.
"I saw the notice," she says. "Interesting. You seem to want to speak." She looks over at Brixton.
Oh, no. While they're talking, can I sneak out of here?
"If you'd like."
Are you seriously going to go to the water?
Agrias.
I'm drunk.
Agrias, you're in the middle of
Yes.
talking to Solveig. Brixton is trying to be sly. He gets up, stumbles once over his feet, knocks over the chair, and kind of like gets on all fours and starts like trying to crawl out of there. She looks over at him. "Should I stop him?" She looks over to you, Grias.
No. One moment, please. And I walk over to him
Uh
and I lift him up and I go, that would be most unwise, my friend.
huh.
I
I just
walk
want
back
water.
and put him. Do they have? Nah, it's a tavern. They wouldn't have little kid chairs, would they?
No, they would not.
Yeah. I offer her a seat at our table.
She sits down. She says, "I will be honest with you because that is the Kruski way.
Honesty is always appreciated.
The notice that was on the board, the reason why my brother and I have not been hired yet is neither one of us can read your language. We heard that this was a good place to come to be hired as mercenaries. Neither of us knew that would suspected that we had to read letters. So we had the guildmaster, Corvus, read them to us, and it was too much. We didn't understand, but you speak very plainly, she says, and I appreciate that. I'll talk to my brother,
course.
she goes, but I can almost assure you that we would both be honored to be part of your fellowship.
You would be most welcomed.
Ginny looks over at you, Graya. She goes, well, this is turning out to be a nice day. Drinks her wine. Okay, so meanwhile, Brixton, it's getting pretty ugly for you over there. Uh, it, the world's spinning. It's close to heaving. It's about commode hugging time for you, and somebody else comes walking up to the table. It's a kind of a portly.
Carlos, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So could vomiting be seen as evil?
No,
Okay. never
but
mind.
if you're going to force somebody to vomit, that might be seen as evil.
Okay.
Unless it's helping them.
Yeah, unless it's helping them. I mean, yeah. So anyway,
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Could I cast protection from evil?
you've already
On
cast
him.
your spell for the day.
Oh, sure, that's right. Yeah.
So anyway, so this woman comes walking up to the table. She goes, "Hey, I heard that." She looks over at, stops halfway through it, and looks over at Brixton. Kind of looks a little bit like, I can't believe what I'm looking at. Then stops. She goes, "I heard that the brandy's been very popular at this table today. Are you enjoying it?"
We are indeed.
Oh, very good, very good.
Yes.
It's always good to hear that someone's enjoying my work. I'm the brewmistress. I just wanted to make sure that you were having a good time and that you enjoyed the drink.
Are you the lady with that we're? Are you a druid?
Way to speak plainly, my friend.
So Vague kind of looks like she's pleased with it and nods. She pulls out her necklace out of her the top of her blouse. It's a beer barrel. She goes, "I am the devout of Wenta, yes."
Well met. I am Agrias. I stand up and offer my hand.
She shakes it. She says, "Why would you ask such a question?"
We're going on a mission, and we're looking for someone who can make food and drink.
She puts her finger out, puts it on your lips. Agrias, why would he ask me such a question?
We are in need of a druid on our quest that we have been given.
I see. And the quest
You would be
is,
most welcome.
and the quest is
Guardian a caravan heading south in 3 days.
you expect trouble, I assume.
Yes, it is in bandit territory.
The
The
trouble
amount of danger is unknown.
And how much does it pay?
5 silver a day.
She looks down at Brixton. She says, when I was walking over here, I heard somebody mention something about parlor tricks. She goes, "Let me show you one." She reaches into a pouch at her side and pulls out a piece of mistletoe, drops it into your brandy, puts her fingers on at the edge of the cup, runs it all the way around there once. She goes, "Drink."
Me?
I don't see any other gnomes around here, my friend.
I can handle this and more. I'll take a swig.
You're instantly sober.
See? I told you.
She says, and
I give a
she
little.
picks up the rest of the glass and drinks it. She goes, she goes to a druidess of Wenta. She goes, "Beer is holy water. I'll be prepared in 2 days," she says. Turns around, walks back to the bar. She goes, "I assume you're staying over at the Chuckling Centaur?"
Indeed.
I'll see
We
you
are.
there.
Well met.
Thank you.
Your name, gnome?
Brixton, Beholder's Bane.
Brixton.
And I give a little tilt of my hat.
You're going to get yourself in trouble if you keep pretending that you can drink.
I'm blaming this guy.
She goes, trust me, I'm a priestess of Wenta. She turns around and walks back into the back room, humming a little tune to herself.
I'm going to whisper to Agrias. I could probably drink her under the table, too.
I'm sure you could, my
meanwhile,
friend.
Mare snoozing on the table. Ginny kind of looks over at him, looks over at you, Agrias. She goes, I wish you would have left some of it for my brother. I've never seen him like this before.
Brixton is a master of parlor tricks.
So I see. Solveig looks at him. Looks at him, kind of lifts up his arm, falls back on the table. Well, I suppose I'll take my leave of you now, Solveig says, looking at the rest of you. You're staying, you said, at the Chuckling Centaur? My brother and I will be there.
Well met.
What time of day is it, Carlos?
Right now, it's starting to come around in the afternoon. You're a day drinker, pal.
I mean, I always sober up. It's great.
So, at this point in time, Rainmar, you're coming back up the street. Arion is as well. Where are you guys going to go?
I'll head back toward the tavern where these idiots are obliterated.
Okay, and you, Arion?
Same thing as I was going to go talk to the druid about.
Okay, well,
Possibly.
you guys meet up with each other and kind of walk the rest of the way. And when you guys walk in the bar, this is what you see. Gaius is sitting there in the back to the wall. Seems perfectly normal. The flame-haired barbarian is just standing up from the table. Brixton is sitting there with all these empty mugs in front of him. There must be 9 empty mugs in front of him. Ginny is sitting over there with a glass of wine, and Merrick is unconscious on the table. You guys walk in the room.
How many did he drink now?
Enough to outdrink a dwarf.
Oh my god.
You should have seen it, Ginny says. It was amazing. He was amazing.
The Beholder's Bane strikes again.
He's not slurring his words. What the heck?
Well, he was. We made contact with the druidess, the brewmistress that works here.
Oh, okay.
And she was able to, I think she's going to join with us.
Oh, that's good.
Solveig stops when you guys are all talking at the front of the bar. She goes, and I've joined as well with my brother. It seems that your fellowship is gaining numbers.
Good. Thank you for joining.
I agree. There is strength in numbers, he says. Keeps walking out of the bar. Okay, so your group is back together again. What will you do now?
I see we have a
Is there
dog.
anything to eat?
Is there anything to eat?
We don't have anything. I have a dog.
Yeah, you guys. Arion, you're noticing that the Wolverine and the dog, they're walking next to each other, and they seem to have absolutely no problem with each other. You would have expected it to be an absolute cluster, but actually
That's what I've been watching. That as soon as I met up with them,
nope, they seem to be getting along just fine. They're walking right next to each other. There was a lot of butt sniffing going on, but everything seems to be okay. Agrias, you see, you see that Rainmar has a dog. It just kind of sits over at his heel.
I get in on one knee and offer my hand.
Huh? Rainmar?
Is there anything to eat in the tavern?
Yeah, you can ask the bartender. He goes, yes. He goes, what would you like?
Got any meat?
I'll fetch you some. He walks by. Agrias, you put out your
For
hand
my-
to the dog. The dog starts to growl a little bit.
I simply smile and stand back up.
Agrias, the
When she-
dog, as an elf, you reckon this is not a dog. This thing is at least half wolf, at least, maybe even full.
That's cool.
when she, when she growls, I growl at her.
Make me a 20, please.
12.
The wolf stops growling immediately.
That was its mating call.
Ginny looks over and she
We
goes,
all have to do our part.
you do that pretty well. She goes, you have experience training war dogs?
Almost everyone I've done battle with is a war dog.
She laughs. She goes,
including me.
including me.
Dog food.
So she says, Ginny looks over. She goes, well, what's her name? Meanwhile, the bartender is coming back with a flank of meat.
I'm gonna take the meat, sit down on the floor with her,
Uh-huh.
and hand feed her.
Okay, he looks over at you. He goes, 3 silver, please.
Is that meat cooked already? Or is it raw?
It's raw.
Okay.
And Tobias looks, his eyes are big as saucers looking at the wolf eating it.
Do you have any more?
3 silver, he looks over at you.
What's that?
He goes, you have 3 silver?
Oh yeah.
I'll get you some.
Thank you very much.
So what's her name? Ginny says.
Well, where I'm from, you have to earn your name. And as of yet, all she's done is sniff, growl at people, and eat meat.
Sniffy
So we're not
growly
there
it
yet.
is. She says. So
We could call her butt sniffer, but I think it's early.
I don't think that's very catchy, she says. So, where did you guys go? She looks over at you while you're feeding the dog.
David,
David?
Oh,
Where-
what now?
Ginny says, where were you?
Where was I?
Yeah, where did you go?
I went up and had a couple errands, talked to the sheriff, and was asking some questions about our little altercation
I see.
from yesterday.
She goes, well, I don't know if you've heard or not, but Rainmar hired Herrick.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
So hopefully it'll work.
yeah, I hope so too, she goes, but I want you to know that we've all made a pledge that if he causes any trouble, he's going to have to fight at least 5 of us.
Oh yeah, and Tobias here, if you haven't met him, he actually likes Raddick Mountain oysters, so we can stick him on there too.
She says, actually, I've heard of stories about this rabid Wolverine that's running around town, terrorizing people, but I haven't actually gotten a chance to meet the darling yet. He comes back with the meat.
Well, you want to make friends? You want to feed them? Go for it.
I think
My hands
I'll
above.
pass. Thank you very much.
I put the plate down there, and
He starts eating, just tearing into his food and everything. She just looks at him. She goes, "Yeah, I think I'll definitely pass." Okay, so you guys are feeding the pets and your animal companions. Brixton, is there anything you want to accomplish for the rest of the year, your stay at the tavern?
No.
What have you accomplished so far? I mean,
Gotten drunk.
Hey,
you won
I
a
made
drinking
friends.
game.
No, we don't want him to play a drink.
Actually, technically it was Agrias that won that drinking game.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah, but-
Gaius that won that drinking game.
But you don't know that.
For sure. No, I do know that.
You guys spend the rest of the time at the tavern until the sun starts to go down, and pretty soon it's getting to be time for your performance. Is there anything you would like to do to get ready for this?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and practice the music that the blacksmith suggested.
Make me a percentage die roll, please.
Percentage dice. I had my 20 out, but not my percentage. 12.
You guys are listening to Rainmar play. He's underrated his skill level quite a bit. He actually is really good. He's right on point with this song, and you guys all recognize it. It's a very famous ballad, Tenebris song, and Ginny looks very impressed. Merrick is still unconscious. She goes, "You're very good, actually." She goes, I'm impressed."
Me too. This is gonna be great.
Thank you. You're too kind.
Okay, an hour after sundown progresses. You guys gonna make your way over to the inn?
Yes.
Yes.
Go.
Yep.
You're maybe 500 feet from the inn, and you can already hear the noise inside of it. The place is packed. Candle lights, torch lights in there. You hear all kinds of drinking and revelry going on. It's going to be a pretty big crowd. In fact, you're going to guess the whole village is there. You guys
I
go
look-
in through the doors, and yeah, there's probably 150 people in there for an occupancy of about 100.
Arion, keep your hood low.
You do.
Question for you, Carlos. I'll probably end up rolling for it. My patron deity is Ilona,
It is.
and says services of worship involve wooden and horn vessels, various herbs, and playing of pipes and flutes. Would I have? I never, when I
Not
rolled.
yet, no.
Oh, okay. I just
You're just
curious
an
if I had-
acolyte yet. But we
Okay.
can work on that for your character.
No,
If
but
that's
I was just
a
wondering
direction
if
you want
I-
to go with.
Well, I just wanted to know if I had possibly had flutes that I did with, my beginning.
Not yet, no.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Okay, Agrias, I should say Rainmar and Brixton, are you guys going to go take the stage?
We are. Yeah, that's the plan.
I'm gonna make an entrance though, naturally.
Okay, how are you going to make an entrance?
So I'm gonna let Rainmar. I tell him to wait, and then can I? How dim are the lights here?
Very. It's torchlight, flickering torchlight.
I'm heading to a corner.
Okay, you and Tobias are heading towards corner. Agrias, are you doing the same?
I'm gonna stand next to the stage just in
Okay.
case someone
Oh, the
decides to be
muscle. I
drunk and
love
pull
it.
something.
Bouncer.
Okay. Brixton?
I enter this. I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna cast colored lights
Okay.
and make a bunch of colored lights happen. And then I'm gonna introduce Rainmar the Wild Light.
You start making the colored lights start appear and blinking. Everybody in the crowd is fixated on there. You hear a lot of oohs and ahs. And you introduce Rainmar the Wild. Give me your introduction. Hit me with it, Brixton.
Do you have a stage name?
Oh, I don't have a stage name, you idiot. I'm only in this mess because of you.
Why would he have a stage name?
I do. And then
Rainmar the Reluctant.
I say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, tonight from a very far away land, we bring you Rainmar the Wild Light.
Crowd's dead silent. Rainmar, you begin to play. What do you
Yep.
roll?
Center stage. Is it percentage or
Yep,
20?
percentage.
30. Not bad.
Rainmar starts to play. And as he starts to play, you hear the crowd starting to murmur a little bit. You guys get the impression that the crowd is generally quite pleased with his performance right now. Rainmar continues to play. Rainmar, I need you to roll me a 20-sider, please.
20.
Rainmar, Agrias, you're standing there at the front of the stage, and you notice a couple people coming to the front of the stage, and they're leaving coins at the front of the stage for Rainmar. You gonna stop them?
No, but I'm gonna be close.
Okay. Yeah, there's a couple people that are there. Somebody leaves a rose there. There's a few. There's a bunch of coins that are there. Rainmar, that's 20 copper for you. Rainmar continues to play.
Wow. Okay, cool.
He plays for an hour. You kind of catch sight while you're doing it of the blacksmith in the audience. Are you going to play his song? He's sitting at the table.
No, because
He's sitting at the table with a money changer, the elvish money changer.
no, because he requested me to play it as a private audience after the show.
Okay. Okay. So you
So I'll save that for after.
okay. You guys, the thing is going really, really well. Brixton's light show was actually really setting off the music. Rainmar, you were a little bit skeptical about the gnome at first, but actually, it's pretty badass the way he complements your show with the illusion. They actually, by the end of your show, they ask you for an encore, which you perform. By all said and done, you've got 40 copper sitting up on top of on the edge of the stage, and by the time you're done, everybody gives you a round of applause, standing ovation, in fact.
Okay.
Okay, so what are you gonna do?
Brixton, you were gonna do magic, Brixton, or what?
I did do magic.
Oh, that was your contribution. So basically, you're just getting me up. Okay.
Well, I did it throughout the show. All right, settle down. I gotta concentrate on this. What do you want me to do? Juggle knives as well?
Can you do that?
You guys
Is
are
that on
talking.
your
You
character
guys are
sheet?
talking about this, and while you're talking about it, Melindra comes walking up to you. She goes, "That was the best show we've ever had here over at the inn." She goes, "I'm so happy with you." She gives you both a big hug.
Does my dog growl at her when she does?
No, the dog because of the music and the crowd has been at the back of the stage this whole time, just laying there, just doesn't know quite what to do at all.
Okay. Yep.
So you guys are. She gives you a big hug. She goes, "Definitely, as long as you want to stay here, you can. As long as you guys keep performing." She goes, "Your illusion magic was great," she says to Brixton. You guys are in the middle of
You're so
talking,
great.
and you guys see Herrick come walking through the crowd towards you. Agrias, you see Herrick coming walking through the crowd towards you.
Oh, you
Okay.
know better.
Comes up, looks at you both. He goes, I gotta hand it to you. That was a pretty good show. He turns around and walks away.
Oh, well,
So,
my
your group,
first show.
what are you gonna do? The crowd is beginning to disperse a little bit. People are starting to go home. Um, the whole show's gone really well.
I've got to go. I've got to go sit at the blacksmith table and play the song for him.
Okay, you go over there. Tenivri looks at you and she says, "What's all this?" And the blacksmith says, "Peace." He looks over at you. Go ahead and make me a percentage dice there, Rainmar.
40.
You begin to play. You don't feel like it was as good as the first time you played, but it's still really solid.
Yep.
Tenivri looks over at him.
Okay.
This is the song. He goes, I know. Shh. They listen. She's drinking. He's drinking while I listen. She puts her hand on top of his. He just gives you a big smile. By the time the song's over with, she's like, "That was beautiful. Thank you very, very much, Rainmar." Um, the
You're welcome.
blacksmith says, "If I could have a moment with my friend Tenivri." She goes, "Oh yes, yes." He stands up, walks a few steps from her, the table. He goes, "How's the dog been so far?"
Well, as you can see, she's a little bit lazy.
I don't think she's lazy. I think she's scared. All those lights. He goes, "Anyway," he goes, "I have something for you." He hands you a bag.
Okay.
He goes, "You didn't come back for it, but I finished it." He goes, "Here's your mask."
Oh, thank you.
Very good.
I appreciate it.
He gives you his one hand. He goes, "Thank you very much
Anything I need.
for your performance." He goes, "It was wonderful."
My pleasure, and thank you for this gift.
He turns around, walks back, and sits at the table, and those two talk some more. Your group is now pretty much assembled. What will you do?
See, there's 9 of us now.
Yeah, I would. I want to offer the mask to Arion,
Ariane?
but I hand it to him I hand it to him as something to look at later, not necessarily in the group, but I kind of slide it in the bag.
All right. Thank you. I'll take a gander at it.
You guys are standing there talking, and the two gnome girls come walking up. They've been following Brixton, and they right in the open, they stand there. They're just kind of waiting for him to acknowledge them.
I say, Sunny, Lily.
She looks at them. Sonny says, "I heard that you guys are hiring people for a mission."
Yes, I've kept you two in mind.
She nods. She goes, "Well, um, we have an offer for you."
What's that?
She hands you a bag. She goes, "We want to be your apprentices. You're a great magic user, and we want to be your apprentices. We saw the colored lights. That was awesome. Could you
Thank you.
teach us how to do that?"
This is such a horrific idea.
You
In
know he's
almost
going to try and
every
do it,
way. And you know that they're both going to get killed on this thing.
It's gonna be great. I feel how heavy the coin purse is.
It's heavy. It's pretty heavy. You got to open it up and look at it.
Yeah.
Well, at first glance, there's probably about 50 copper in there. There's about maybe 16 steel pieces, a few of which are bent. There's a couple shiny rocks in there. There's one silver piece in there, but it looks like it might not be legitimate. It looks like it might be counterfeit.
I say, listen, join us on our mission, and I'll show you a couple things.
They both hug you. Oh my gosh, this is so wonderful. Oh, you can't let our aunt know.
Oh my gosh.
You can't let Aunt Melindra know.
I won't.
This is a terrible idea.
Very bad. Very bad.
This is maybe the worst idea yet.
This is awesome.
You know, every time he says that it's going to be great, the only thing I come up with is Flounder from
Finding
Animal.
Nemo.
No,
Oh,
Animal House.
Oh, animal. Oh, Fat Flounder. Yeah. Okay. So the night is over with pretty much. You guys got to retreat to each one of your rooms.
Can I go back to that supply store?
Yeah, but it might be
The tongue
closed
twister
by
shop?
Yeah.
Oh, it's closed by now. Okay.
I was going to ask you, did I see was it, where's her name? Iris from the Sundry Store? Was she there at all?
Yeah, the Sunshower sisters were there.
Oh, are they still here or no?
No, they've already left.
Okay. But I was going to say hi to Tobias because they got along with him, or Cyrus.
Nope, neither one of them did. Tobias this entire time has been outside actually because you thought it would be a good idea not to have him with the regular people. He's been hunting
Okay.
skunks all night. You can tell.
All right.
Um,
Sure, it's not just him.
Yeah, you can tell. Yeah, he's pretty putrid right now. He seems to love it though.
Well, yeah, it's like a dog rolling and everything.
Right. He seems to love it. So you guys got to retreat to your rooms for the evening?
I head out to the water because I
Okay.
had an unsettling sleep the night before. So I'll either climb out my window or sneak away.
Yeah, you sneak away while everybody else is going to their room. Takes you probably about 20 minutes to get to the water. When you're out there, you don't feel anything at all. Just this dull kind of this feeling of loss almost.
I just kind of sit with that
Yeah. Sit there and
before,
just thinking.
yeah, before heading back to the tavern.
Okay, and you head back to the tavern. Gentlemen, you have as you guys all unless you have anything else you guys want to do, I'm going to assume that you guys go to bed for the evening.
Mhm.
And that will be the end of our session for the night. Um,
Okay.
you guys have a restful sleep right now. You guys, in recap for all of you, you guys have managed to assemble a really strong spine of your team with the Magmaborns, the two dwarves, Solveig and her brother, and now the two dwarvish, gnomish girls, as well as Herrick.
Druid too.
You've sent your letters. You've made a contact with the sheriff. You made another contact with the money changer and the blacksmith. And you've also got the priestess of Wenta has joined your team as well. So, all said and done, your team has grown almost by triple right now. The fellowship looks very strong, and when you guys go to sleep, you have a very good feeling about what's ahead of you on the mission. So that will be the end of tonight's session. I want to thank you guys for joining. I hope you guys all had fun tonight. I had a blast, some good laughs, and everybody that's watching on Twitch tonight, thank you very, very much for tuning in. I had a great time. Tune in next time. We're going to probably have a little bit of a unique schedule. A bunch of the players here are going to have their schedules a little bit off. So we're going to be running some sessions that will be solo for some of the players, and some of them that will just include 3 of them or 2 of them. So you get a little bit of a chance to see what these guys are like when they have a little bit more limelight straight up. And for those of you who are interested in running solo sessions, maybe you guys can get an idea of what a good solo game looks like. Everybody on Twitch land, thank you very, very much. Everybody and my players over here, stay tuned. We'll be I'll sign off with you guys here in just a moment.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.